NNX, where we give you campus news faster than you can eat a bowl of mac and cheese. I'm Bridget Adu-Wadier.
And I'm Lily Wolfson. Let's dive right into tonight's stories. There are new signs around Evanston discouraging people from donating to panhandlers. NNN's Andrew Rowan talked to community members to learn about the sign's impact.
It's oxymoron.
Evanston native Stephen Craig, who is experiencing homelessness, is talking about these new signs. They read, "Have a heart, give smart, panhandling isn't safe."
I'm asking for help. That's it.
Scanning the QR code reveals a list of local organizations assisting those who are housing, food, and employment insecure. But Craig says those resources, while helpful, aren't enough.
They only open 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. I'm homeless 24 hours a day.
The city manager says Evanston wanted to emphasize that panhandling is unsafe.
Given this is Evanston, and Evanston is a welcoming community, we also have to balance that with our values.
The city says aggressive panhandling is the reason for why these signs went up. Yet the Evanston Police Department told Evanston Roundtable only one citation was issued last year, though they said that low number doesn't mean incidents don't occur.
We'll just have to wait and see how it works.
Advocacy group Interfaith Action of Evanston says they're monitoring the success of the signs, but will continue to work with other city groups towards their long-term goal, which is
kind of a systematic approach to getting people sheltered, housed, and then moving forward in their lives.
The city says it wants those in need to take advantage of the nonprofits it's supporting, as opposed to panhandling.
The idea is to combine resources with our non-for-profit partners and determine what it's going to take to get people off the street.
While the signs advise against donating to panhandlers, it is legal to give.
Going beyond the signs, I spoke with a local artist who is sharing the story of his father to shine light on the people facing the impacts of homelessness through his art. Warning, this story does discuss themes of suicide and addiction.
The last time Evanston resident Daniel Burnett saw his dad, George, was 2007. He was living out of his car homeless, struggling with opiate abuse. Soon after,
my dad checked himself into a city hospital, and I knew he was in there, and he hung himself.
Over a decade after spreading his ashes, the artist is paying tribute to his father in a new mural at Brothers Cake Coffee House on Main Street. From memories of camping and road trips to learning about his father's substance abuse, Burnett says he tried to depict his dad as someone more than his homelessness.
I typically don't cry while I paint, and I would cry like pretty much every other session.
Burnett says he hopes the mural changes perceptions of people dealing with homelessness, substance abuse, and mental illness.
It's so easy to either make them into a non-entity or just a tragic figure. But for me, it's like, I see somebody who had a past life.
In a city with a history of economic disparities, he says the new anti-panhandling signs are manipulative.
They look cute on the surface, but what they're doing is they're saying, hey, person on the corner, we don't like you. We don't want you here.
Burnett says his father's presence isn't just in the mural, but also on his mind as he painted, repressed memories resurfacing.
What is the ghost of my dad doing? Is he frolicking about? Is he having a good time? Is he still lost?
Humanizing an issue hitting close to home. Bridget Adu-Wadier, Northwestern News Network.
Bridget, what does Daniel Burnett hope this mural's impact will be, and how does he hope to continue his father's story?
Yeah, great question, Lily. Daniel was talking about how he really put a lot of emotional energy into this mural, and he really wants for people to really understand the emotional impact of when someone in your family goes through homelessness or experiences or struggles with substance abuse, and just the fact that it's not just a problem that people look down upon, but it's actually something that impacts people. And even though it's a really debilitating struggle that he personally experienced, like, these people are actually human beings, and he really wanted to humanize the people who are impacted by homelessness and are trying to get help. And he also mentioned that he hopes to continue his father's story by just forging relationships with panhandlers, people who experience homelessness and experience mental health issues as well. He has created some relationships and some friends and connections with people that he's seen on the streets. So,
thanks, Bridget. Now for some news on Ukraine. Chicago area doctors from NGO Med Global traveled nearly 5,000 miles last month to deliver medical aid to Ukrainians and survey the situation on the ground, including in the city of Lviv. With a struggling healthcare system amidst Russian attacks, some Ukrainian civilians have stepped up as healthcare workers. 10 doctors and humanitarian workers, most of them from the Chicago area, brought 167 suitcases filled with medical supplies.
The medical supplies is just, there's so many different organizations that are bringing medical supplies in, but it just seems like it's not enough. It's just never enough.
While Ukraine needs more medical supplies, Med Global co-founder John Kaler says what is needed most is an end to the war. Bridget?
Now shifting into our COVID update. One change students and faculty experienced this spring quarter is the option of masks in all spaces on campus. Let's take a look at Northwestern's COVID numbers as we head into week 2 of spring quarter. According to Northwestern's COVID-19 dashboard from March 25th to the 31st, Evanston's campus positivity rate lies at 1.71%. There were 160 new positive cases during this 7-day period and 9,353 total tests received. On-campus testing continues to be available for all those who would like one.
Next up, an Evanston bookstore celebrates Transgender Day of Visibility with Queer Lit, its middle school book club. I learned more about the festivities and the planning behind the event. Booked Evanston aims to support trans youth, and the party celebrated identity. Illustrator Vincent Cow attended the event. His comic Magical Boy features a trans protagonist, and he taught the children how to make comics with inclusivity in mind.
I was so stressed and so frustrated, and Trans Day of Visibility was coming up, and I just thought, we deserve a party, and these young people totally deserve a party.
The event, inspired by recent anti-trans legislation, looked to celebrate a sense of community for trans youth.
Celebrating diversity not only in Evanston, but in Northwestern. A new multicultural theater board at NU is looking to color outside the lines and break stereotypes. Vibrant Colors Collective, or VC Squared, is putting a multicultural lens on the performing arts. According to their mission statement, VC Squared is devoted to producing theater for the communities that have been historically silenced at Northwestern and in the whole theater community as a whole. To learn more, follow the VC Squared Instagram at vc2.nu.
From the Vibrant Colors Collective to green activism in Evanston, Evanstonians everywhere are partaking in environmental conservation. NNN's Mikayla Denault shows what the community is doing to turn a new leaf on their green impact.
Last Friday, the We're No Fools Earth Day kickoff event celebrated Evanston's green initiatives and the groups that make them happen. Other activities are bringing people together to promote a team effort, like buying secondhand and recycled crafts to show how small ways can make a difference.
Before you're getting ready to go buy a new kitchen, a new light fixture, new appliances, come here.
Events like these throughout the month of April are making sure staying sustainable is fun and accessible for the Evanston community. Citizens Greener Evanston and Evanston Made, along with Art Makers Outpost, the Waste Shed, and Evanston Rebuilding Warehouse, use and sell secondhand materials to reduce consumption.
There's several little things that I've noticed that I can use for my new home.
Campus is no exception. Green activist Lucy London encourages students to get involved in NU clubs and reach out to the Evanstonians beyond campus.
It's really, really important that we connect with Evanston people and the fights that Evanston is fighting.
The importance of these green practices?
Because the future of our planet and this guy right here depends on it.
And Citizens Greener Evanston Board President Rachel Rosner says community is what makes this happen.
Just by being together and making connections, we move forward.
Sustainable living for Evanston's greener future. Mikayla Denault, Northwestern News Network.
Students can get involved in more green events, including a student-led Earth Day event called Generations of Environmental Justice, where students and Evanston residents can engage in workshops and presentations. Bridget, how are you planning to celebrate Earth Month?
yeah, you know, after a long winter quarter inside, staying from the cold, I'm really looking forward to enjoying outside and taking a walk along the Lakeville.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, and speaking of being outside, perhaps you guys might be able to do that too, because this is all the time that we have for tonight. Thanks so much for watching.
Stay tuned for the Northwestern News Report coming up next. I'm Lily Wolfson.
And I'm Bridget Aduwadie. Have a great night.